Hey guys, this is Anita. Welcome back to my channel. Today's video is going to be my review of First Law Trilogy by Joe Abercrombie. It's been 3 months since I finished this trilogy. I took time to film this review because I could not decide whether to talk only things I liked or to include even things I did not like, to do spoiler-free review or spoiler-filled. I finally decided to accept what I felt and talk about everything. So the first part of this review is going to be spoiler-free, and then I'll get to spoilers because most of the things I did not like are from third book, so I need to talk spoilers to get to them. Many people say that first book doesn't have any plot, but I did not feel that way. Usually first books in any fantasy series are mostly set up. I am completely okay with that. Overall, as a trilogy, story is minimal. That I completely agree with. We can easily summarize the entire plot of the trilogy in just a couple of lines. Most of our characters are from the Union, from a city called Edva. There are a couple of characters from North and South, but they also decide to fight alongside the Union. A guy called Bethard who unified all the clans in the north and now coming to invade the Union. And there is Garkish Empire in the south, which is also coming to invade Edva. So basically, there is war in the north and in the south. We follow our characters during this political turmoil and warfare. The world is bleak and depressing. This last year, what I learned about my own taste is I am okay with the dark settings as long as there is hope. I need to enjoy the journey to like a book. For example, take KJ Parker. Actually, both Parker and Abercrombie's writing is similar. Both have bleak worlds, morally grey characters. There is humor in both of their writings, and they explore characters. Their main focus is the exploration of these characters. Main difference for me is Parker has a cynical approach, which I'm completely alright because I am cynical sometimes, but Abercrombie has nihilistic approach, which I don't believe in. I don't think as a humanity whole is bad. There are some bad people, but I don't believe that everyone is bad. That's where my struggle comes from. Actually, I struggle to relate with these characters. They felt foreign to me. First two books are okay with me, though world was bleak. There was some kind of hope, or at least I was naive enough to believe there was hope, but the third book completely took that away. I felt depressed throughout the book, even during battle scenes. I usually like battle scenes, especially battle strategies, but in the third book, focus was not on battle strategies, it's on the fear these characters face, and so much about death and despair. That's not for me. That's not something I can relate to. My brain struggle to comprehend that thought process actually. Anyways, let's talk about world building and magic system. Both are actually minimal. Magic system is soft. We don't get things explained clearly. Even with the world building, we get glimpses of flashback what happened with the mages when they were young, and actually one of the wars, the southern war, the conflict was rooted from the past. We never get complete history of what exactly happened. Based on the behavior of these characters, we have to understand or believe one side of the story. There are always two sides to any history. Anything could be right based on who is telling that part of the story. This is perfect example of that. One of the mages, Bias, is the most compelling character in this trilogy. Abercrombie definitely surprised with that character. He completely subverted that mentor or mage trope. My favorite character is Logan. He's the one with hope and some kind of positive outlook for the future. Though he has violent past, irrespective of what happened, he kind of want to do something good. I like that, especially in first two books, but his POV in the third book is the toughest for me to read. As I said, battle scenes were focused on fear and death and despair. I struggled through those scenes. I still liked Logan, but I did not want to read his arc. I'll talk about him more in the spoiler section. Glocta is the most fleshed out character out of all. We understand his motivations and why he's doing what he's doing. I liked Glocta, but not as much as everyone did. Maybe because of how much hyped he was. He's definitely a very popular character. I think that kind of set my expectations very high. It was implied that Glokta was very smart. We kind of see that in book 2 while defending Dogaska. I saw him as a strategist, but I kind of expected more. Maybe if I hadn't read Parker's characters, I read Folding Knife and The Company. His characters are very intelligent, especially Basso from The Folding Knife. Maybe that kind of set my expectations how intelligent characters are. So I'm kind of little disappointed. He's definitely smart. We see some of that in book 3. I'll get to that, but not in as intelligent as I expected. I'm also surprised how people called him a good person internally. I don't believe that. Even before the torture Glokta was vain, we do get that from his own perspective, where Glokta thinks about how he used to treat people in the past. That's why he hates Jezal, because Jezal reminds him of himself. Actually, that's where this thumbnail comes from. After finishing this trilogy, I watched so many reviews. Most of them, almost 90% of those reviews were positive. Even few people who did not like First Law loved Glokta. That's what made me think actually if I had broken some kind of law. Initially I wanted to put did I fail book 2, but that sounded like a clickbait thumbnail. Even this is clickbaity, but this is exactly how I felt when I finished the trilogy. So I decided to go ahead with this. Jezal is the most surprising character for me. He started as this vain, insufferable prick, but by the end he is the one with good intentions, whether he is capable or not. I liked Pharaoh. Her motivations are clear to me from the beginning. Her priorities were clear. It's just sad that her character wasn't developed much. We got something at the end of book 3, but it was too little too late. I wasn't satisfied at all. I also liked Aarti in book 1. She was smart and quick-witted, but her character also did not develop much after that. I kind of expected where her character goes in book 1, and that's exactly happened. Actually, all Abercrombie's female characters are one-dimensional in this trilogy. They have one purpose and they fulfill that purpose. They weren't developed beyond that. Even there was another female character introduced in the 3rd book. That character also has one purpose and wasn't developed properly. When I said this, actually many people said his female characters are good in his 2nd trilogy, Age of Madness. I completely believe that, but that did not change the fact that these female characters are one-dimensional. Maybe when I read that, maybe I'll change my mind and I'll believe that he is fantastic in writing characters, but for now he is good at writing male characters. That's all I meant. Let's move on to spoiler section, because I want to talk about other characters, Dogman and others, and West, and more about Logan and Glokta. From the first book, the way Dogman and others were introduced, the way they talked about Logan, I thought they were all good friends. I waited for their reunion with Logan, but that kind of fell flat for me. We do get one scene, everyone was happy at the beginning, especially Thunderhead Tull. That's all. After that, we don't get any camaraderie between them. Actually, focus was not on that. They did travel to north for a good defensive location, but the focus was on how everyone hates Logan, how everyone wants to kill Logan being conscious of that. It kind of confused me. I was under the impression that they were all good friends. Did I misunderstand that? Because in book 2, when they were all going to quest, Logan was the one who was proactive in being friends with his other companions. He kind of developed that with Jezal. I thought there was even a dialogue that how he had a good friendship with his friends from the past. Maybe I'm misremembering that, but I kind of expected that camaraderie, which isn't there. Entire focus is on the negativity. I am not a big fan of that. I guess if Three Trees had been alive, things would have been different. I think they both were more closer, but sadly he was dead. Tull did attempt to talk to Logan, but Logan kind of closed off. I mean, it was sad to see that Ferro rejected him, so he kind of left the only friendship he built with Jezal and came back here. For what? what is the point of it? I mean, that's how I felt, because Logan was kind of lonely with his friends. And I was not at all surprised that Tull was the one who got killed during his Bloody Nine episode. From the first time that Bloody Nine part was introduced, I was expecting Logan to kill one of his friends. I was hoping it to be Black Doe, but obviously this is Grimdark. Abercrombie is going to kill someone Logan is close to, not the bad one. What surprised me was that Ferro saw him once during that Bloody Nine episode. She realized that something was off and she kind of maintained distance. She, I think, slapped him to get him out of that episode. How was that his own friends did not know about that? Did they simply assume that he was aggressive and he kills his enemies like an animal? What's more shocking to me was the lack of reaction from his friends. When they did not react initially, I thought that they did not know, they did not realize that in between that chaos. But Dogman does know. He reacts after the death of Harding Grim. Maybe he was scared until then. Maybe Grim's death broke him. Maybe that's why he reacted. Anyway, at the end, I wanted Logan to stay back with Jezal, because Jezal is the only one who value Logan at this point. No one cares about him. But obviously, since Ferro doesn't care about him, Logan decides to leave for North to stabilize North. I was sure that Black Doe was going to betray him. Logan was too naive to trust Black Doe, so I'm not at all surprised Black Doe attacked him. Interestingly, I like the way Logan's arc ended. I'm completely okay with how it ended. Ferro's arc made me sad. She was completely consumed by her vengeance. Maybe we will see more of her in one of the standalones. Coming back to Glokta, as I said, I liked him in book 2 as a strategist, so I was sad actually to see him going back to torturing people in book 3. But he did survive. He came out of that political turmoil. He is in control of Bias, but he did survive. I'm happy about that. But at the same time, the way he threatened Zizal's wife's friend, girlfriend, that was actually brutal. I know Bias is the one who is in control of all that, but Bias did not tell Glokta what to do about it. I don't like what Glokta did in that scene, actually threatening that Jezal's wife's friend. I'm totally blanking on that character's name. At the end, Jezal and Glokta came to some kind of understanding to do some good to the people without Bias' knowledge. We are kind of desperate for something good to happen. At least I was very desperate, so I was kind of something good. But whenever I think of what Glokta threatened that girl, I feel very sad. It was very brutal. The last thing I want to talk about is West. I liked him in the beginning of book 1. I thought he was the only good, sensible character, but obviously it's Grimdark. He turned out to be abusive. He repeatedly hurt his sister. And in later books, he was portrayed as a good commander, good person. I'm not sure if Abercrombie wants to tell us no one is a good person, or make us like an abusive person. Either way, I am too stubborn. I refuse to like him. Overall, book 3 was depressing for me. Most of these characters took 180 degrees turn after the second book. I thought I'll have problems with that, but I was kind of okay with the characters. My problems are with the themes Abercrombie explored. Focus was on despair and brutality of the world. I struggle to relate to that. I don't believe in that ideology. I am taking a break for now. Many people told that Age of Madness is really good. His character work is much better. I am curious to check that out. I do want to continue, but I am definitely going to take a break for now. That's all I have to say about this trilogy. If you have read this, let me know your thoughts in comments. Please like, comment and subscribe. See you in the next video. Bye bye.